Busy running through places with a man them and new faces. Tryna elevate new levels. I'm zoning, I'm pacing. Them man there can't hold me down, so now they wanna trade places. Cream of the cop around town. I can never be basic.
Previously on K-Time TV.
Personally, I feel as if there's a thing called cultural bias. So basically, each race has a bias towards their own race preference.
Hell, if Bill Gates can do it, me too. I can find a way to do it. It may not be a smoother road, but it can be done.
Because you've been XYZ, you look like someone that's been on the news for gun crime. We can't take you.
They haven't, I don't feel as if they have got a privilege, because at the end of the day, this is their country.
I didn't really touch on it a lot because I just feel like it's like a pendulum, like it's swinging both ways. Like, but the thing about white privilege is like sometimes white people don't feel like they've got privilege because like they can't relate. This is the thing. This is one thing that we have to understand. Like sometimes as black people we like to bash them that, oh, you gave that person the job because they're white. Fair enough. Sometimes they actually deserve the job, first of all. Another time when the person didn't feel like I got the job because I'm white, the whole white privilege thing is flawed. If you're getting my like where I'm coming from, like if me and Eddie go for a job, no, you're black. If me and go for a job, you understand? And let's say so you're white, and then we go for the job, and he gets it. Could have been a chance that he was potentially a great candidate, but the point that he sees that he was good enough to stand in the same position as me to get the job, but he's not seeing that, oh, they're going to take me because I'm white. Like, it's not white privilege then. He deserved it, bro. But also as well, I feel like it only becomes a problem when it's like be on you, like, alright, cool, like, you know them ones when you're like, sometimes I feel like black people will do that, like, sometimes, you didn't take me because I'm black, you know. Like, bro, your CV ain't pattern correct. Like, just deep it. It's very pattern correct. Like, every day. Like,
experience.
But yeah, so I feel like it's a pendant. If stuff like this, as you're saying, like, even though we're moving on, I feel like we have to understand that, as you said, it really entwines with racism here. But no, I don't feel like these white people, I don't feel like they're all racist. This is what I'm saying this year. No, we all see these white people, not like they're all not, like, they're racist. Oh, they're racist. However, I feel like they're all, why? Because you see some white people here, there's levels to this racism. And this is why I'm going to say this. I feel like you see some white people here, they've got best friends here that are black. I'm talking about, they could be like a rich white person. They see them go with black people here, that's when they start moving shifty. At that point in time, would you consider him being racist? Like, he doesn't look, it's not like he's looking down upon that black person.
But
obviously, and he's not drawing a card that, oh, my friend, I've got white friends, you know, it's not one of them ones, you understand? But it could be in a sense that I feel like sometimes black people, and I don't care about the comments, if I'm not going to come for me, I don't mind, but I feel like sometimes we don't help ourselves. Like, I feel like we don't, like, I feel like sometimes, even I've gone to places in London, where, listen, I had to zip up, like, bro, I'm not safe here, like, and they're all my people, do you understand? So, don't be like, oh, the white person's running away because he's black. We all see it, like, black people, they're always bad-mouthing and shit in the media, like, stuff like that, which is fine. It's not fine for them to do it, but we as well have to stop, like, we as well have to stop certain things, like, we legit have to stop certain things. Like, I was having a debate and I know there's a debate that's going to draw back, and I was having a debate with my friends here, and I know they're going to draw me out on this because I brought them out on YouTube. However, I was having a debate with my friends here one time, and one of my boys was like, oh, so do you think it's cool if black people say nigger and that, Can you censor that? But if other ethnicities say the word. And then one of my friends were like, yeah, it's cool if black people say it to each other, but when white people say it's a problem. So I had to deep the situation, like, bro, are you mad? Like, are you stupid? But we're the same people promoting it all, like, man, nigga, man, nigga, man, nigga, man. Like, they also enjoy the music too. So can you not say that? We have to start with us. The step is from within us. The step is from. I feel like the step is from within us. We can, like, a lot of time we love to shift blame. Like, we know it's not fair, but we love to shift blame. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just like you're saying, yeah, you've been in places here. You've been in places that is predominantly white here. You still got there though.
Yeah, 100%.
On your UCAS point, you're right. You're black, but you still got to Exeter.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
But I mean, I think with the whole concept about like.
I'm not drawing you out though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not drawing you out at all.
Yeah. But like with the whole thing about like black people use it as a card. I mean, I kind of agree, but I do still think there needs to be sensitivity around it because it's like any other thing that might possibly like put someone at a disadvantage. For example, like mental health. If they brought it up, you wouldn't say, "Oh, you're using that card." You would treat that person as a person and as a whole, and then deal with it there. So I don't think it's fair to even put it as a thing that, oh, black people are using it as a card. It should come from a standpoint of nobody should feel like they can't get something because of the color of their skin. Let's deal with it from that route, not using it as a card. Like, yeah, there needs to be sensitivity around it still.
I just want to say one thing.
Okay.
Because she's on topic, she's on point now. She said something about mental health here. This all goes to the fact I'm saying that black people here, we need to start from ourselves here. There's a lot of people that are going through a lot of things here. We tell our friends that are black here, or people tell their black friends, black people get depression, are you mad? What's that?
Dismissed.
Black people don't get, it's dismissed. So like, certain times, it's not that, I feel like it's all about open-mindedness. Like, there's so much closed mind. That's why you lot were having a debate. I didn't say anything here because you were comparing Africa here to England. Like, it's two different ball games. It's two different. When you go to Africa here, 90% of us are black. Here, there's a lot of diversity. So you can't compare that when you go home, this and this. No, it's two different things. Do you understand? Just like with the mental health, a lot of times we go to even our parents, we go to our friends and family, you tell them about the mental health, they'll be like, go and pray. Go and pray.
You're not going to church.
Well, white people here, we see all the time here, and white people have done away, they even project it here on TV, like, they see a lot of positivity here and a lot of things here. Deep this year, I was telling my friends this, look at Harry Potter here, them man are witches and wizards, you know, but we love them. Going back home here, witches and wizards here, we're bashing them.
End your point with that.
Do you understand? So it's whole perspective, like.
I like that point.
Just say, big up the Asians out there. Feeling a bit left out here. We have similar issues to you guys as well. It's not just black people, it's also Asians. I've been targeted, I'm Sikh, and I get called the P word all the time. Like, if I'm on the road and like, someone's going past me and they're angry at me because I've driven slow or something, the first thing you will see is like their lips moving is just that word. And it does affect black people, Asians. I think it affects everyone at the end of the day. And because of the history, if we go back, I feel like we were molded and categorized into so many different groups that we all have different, different perspectives. And parts of history have made us think the way that we do now. And I think that's also going to affect the next generation, the upcoming generation. I think we've all gotten too used to the idea of choice. I think we've been given too much choice, too much freedom to say what we want to say. I feel like some people deep it way too much. It should just be, free will. We're all living, we're all human. And I feel like we take it to extents where it's just way too blown out proportion. Like with the job thing as well. I completely understand where you're coming from with that because I've had a similar instance where that's happened as well. Where I've kind of been like, well, was it because I was brown? Was it just because that person just was white? Yeah, we get loads of that. I grew up being bullied and everything. I'm sure some of you guys had too. But it's like now, I think it's just made us so stronger that we want to stand up to everyone now and have a big voice. And not everyone is accustomed to that because they don't really want to hear what we have to say because now it's like all of us are talking at the same time. All of us are talking, saying the exact same thing. And I feel like white people sometimes not dismiss it, but I feel like they just kind of overlook some points that we have to say.
Don't relate.
That's my point.
I'm not like disregarding your point. My thing is that we're all saying the same thing and all talking at the same time. So essentially we're all speaking in unison.
Yeah.
So
and that's what they don't
if I think there's an issue where ethnic minorities do feel, like I'm not saying I agree with it per se, but do feel we're talking, nobody's listening. You see where I'm coming from? We're talking, nobody's listening. So then it then fosters ideas like white privilege. It then fosters it because you see where I'm coming from? It's like you said, how do we solve the problem? Because like I said, there's only a few people who are conscious of to even recognize there's a problem.
Yes.
You see where I'm
I
coming
think
from?
it feeds on itself.
And yeah, it perpetuates itself. It just keeps going on and on. So it's like, okay, fine. There's not enough of us who are able to come together. So okay, let's actually try and sort this out because it's just making a mess of it.
Several times you mentioned the media, so there's definitely a responsibility there, isn't there? Because like, we can't help but be influenced. This is going to go online, you know, and we're all probably, well, I guess we're online and we see this thing or not. You know, even back when I was young, it was still tabloid type stories and things being projected with bias. And you know, over time, even, and I think somebody mentioned it's like even at a subconscious level, right? Something's happening because you're basically exposed to it all the time, it's saturating you. So yeah, there's influence, isn't there? So yeah, I'm very much of the mindset of like, you know, what do we do to solve it? I don't like dwelling because if you go back to history, you could get so bogged down with baggage. So I can't move past it. It's just too much. We've got to move past it. We've got to go and find solutions.
Would you agree to say that? Thankfully, where a lot of people have thankfully gotten to is where it's like, how do we sort the problem out? But part of you getting there is because you've gone back.
Yeah, no, that's
and
true.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah,
I'm not saying you have to go and sit there and dwell on it, but it's just like, okay, cool.
It's even worse when you see the graphic films and you see, because you really feel it.
Yeah. Do you see where I'm going? And if you were, for example, like you said, if you not being black, you feel that, how much more do you think? Do you see where I'm coming from? So when people don't, like, it's a perspective, it's like, look, I'm not saying, the way I look at it is like, if I wrong you, there is no way, and I wrong you properly, there is no way you're not going to hold something. Do you see where I'm coming from? Your son knows that, yo, that's the man who did something to daddy. Your son is going to be a bit like, when he sees me. So what I'm saying is when something's perpetuated on such a large scale, everyone seems to forget that, look, this is just basic human like dynamics. Like, this is what happened to a large group of people. So they feel like kind of a way about it. But everyone's like, nah, just pretend like, and I think it's the let's move on, let's it's like, yeah, but just because you've sorted it out for yourself in terms of how you view it or whatever does not mean that the person who you've wronged has adjusted to it. And unfortunately, it feels like you said, it's a case of reaping what you sow, in the sense that when you own the majority of the world at some point, and you treat them like second-class citizens, and they buy into your hype and all want to come over to where you used to reside at, you have to put in perspective this is what goes around comes around. Like, there's a reason people are flocking here. So why are you vexed? It's like people forgot that this is what happened, and it's almost like they're trying to lessen the significance. When you throw a stone into water, it ripples. It goes for time. So why is everyone think that this one big thing or various big things happen and not expected? I mean, when did, as an example, this not be? I can only relate to what I know per se. Martin Luther King. That was just the 60s. Up until the 70s, black people weren't actually, for example, considered like to have proper rights still. And that was not that long ago, bruv. Do you see where I'm coming from? So when you put it in perspective in terms of time, it's like, yo, you're looking at 50, 60 years of let's try and get shit right now. And forgetting that there was, do you see where I'm coming from? Like, I don't say it in a deep way to even cuss, but I'm saying, but if I've spent years knocking on you, just because I didn't do nothing to your children, that story would be passed down, and the way you relate to people, it would affect every single generation coming. So it's sort of like, for people like us who are quote unquote enlightened, we recognize, that's why I don't go around with no chip on my shoulder, because I'm like, it's a minor, like nothing's happened to me. I wasn't no slave. I wasn't get. Do you get what I mean? But that doesn't mean I don't recognize. And you see where I'm coming from. And I think it's that recognition to say, yo, this stuff has there's a reason people feel the way they do even now. And when people ignore that, it's like you're trying to ignore the problem. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, what you just said about the ripples, that's it. I mean, that's a great metaphor, like, because there's been so many horrendous acts in the past, that have occurred. And because we're aware of it now, more so than ever, like I said, there's been times I've watched those films and I've had to pause and sit on the stairs and cry. I just can't take it. I don't care saying that's true. I can't watch it because it's like horrific. It hurts me. I'm a human being. Like, why have we done this? Like, that's obviously a very extreme offence. But so those things, they linger forever, and then you try and so coming back to that ripple effect's going to take time, because I can't tell you right now an instant,
quick fix.
Like, just to go on off my bricks of saying, I get what you're saying. Like black people, sometimes we use the card and stuff like that. But I think sometimes we tend to forget that there's a certain pedigree that's actually happening here. So we have subliminal racism, which is harder to prove, and obviously it's there. Now, there's certain cases that's happened, especially recently that I was reading. A black kid committed rape, and he was gone to court. He was given 25. A white child committed exact same crime, and he was given a 2-year suspended. Reason being is because he had a scholarship, and his lawyer was arguing that had he gone to prison, that would ruin his scholarship chances. Now, wait, can I just? And then the other and the other issue as well is what we saw.
That's a good point. He said that's not.
Wait. But power privilege both do law. You know, if you can afford a good lawyer, you can get away with everything.
Wait,
it's not even about. I've done like marshalling and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been to court with like judges, like white judges. Like I go there, we go into the. Like you go into the room, their chambers here, and you sit down with the judge. Like it's part of my course, and then you do like the sentencing with them here. Like I'm not saying that there's a lot of times where a lot of black people have been put in jail, but listen, I'm telling you, there's lawyers out there that are racking big peas because they are good at their job. Like he can come and sell it to you, and the thing is, yeah, black people here, I've been to court here. We do not pity ourselves in court. We do not pity ourselves in court at all. One time here, I went to court here. This one guy told the judge to suck your mum. Like, what are you expecting? Like, oh, free bro. When you see these white people like court here, they're patterned, suit, tie, everything. Come, I'm not saying that it's cool here, but you have to deep it here. It's all perception. Like, if I'm coming to you here and I've paid here a mil to a lawyer that get my son here out of this case, is a rape case. Listen, they're gonna. He's a school captain for Harvard potential thingy, or he's a black boy, drug boy. He's selling drugs on the road. It's the image.
Yeah, but even with that point though, like about law, because from a legal perspective, like a good lawyer will help you, but even still,
it plays a big factor.
A big factor, but even the way the legal justice system is
set up,
is around white privilege. Especially in America.
We're not in America though, bro.
Yeah, even here as well. But do you know what I mean? So even still, like, a good lawyer helps. But the whole legal justice system is set up around white privilege. It is.
Because the other issue, one last thing. The other issue as well is one of the things where, like, there's a majority of white people, right? Certain things that we black people do, right, has been diminished to the point where we don't like that. As soon as a white person does it, it becomes socially accepted, right?
That's awful.
How is that?
I think it's hard to say it becomes it's
partly our
socially
fault.
accepted.
Yeah, because we're not talking about. We're not like to an extent, Like to an extent,
That's partly.
We're not talking. It's partly our fault, but that's a whole other topic for another day. Because obviously it rattles, it shakes a lot of tables there.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about this whole legal system thing, I feel like sometimes it's true. We do pull out the card. Sometimes judges are harsh on black people here, but bro, a lot of people here, a lot of black people is hearsay. So if you said, I'm going to pick up and be like, it's true, man, court, they're always going to be... Bro, if you go to court, and you see how these black people are acting in court, bro, it's childish. Like, free my bro, like, free bro. Bro, I went there one time. Bro, man said, suck your mom to the judge. Someone that holds your life. Your life is in someone's hands, and you tell him, suck your mom. The white people... There was this man I went to court, he raped this girl, He came here, they brought his family from Russia, everything. They all brought their witnesses. He's the best man I've ever met. He's the thing. They patterned it correct. Straight with the lawyer, the judge here, you know the sentence, you gave him like community sentence for like 3 hours.
But the black man is free bro.
It's free bro. I'm not saying it's free bro here, and God will make a way. Like it's true, it's free bro, and God will make a way. Forgetting that here, faith starts with action, with everything, even in Christianity here, faith starts with action. You cannot tell me that you're going to God here to put everything on God here, then going to tell the judge here, suck your mother. If I was the judge here, bro, they should put you in for life because you don't respect anything. We need to respect ourselves. We need to act. Just like you said, we need to act.
So we need to fix ourselves.
We need to fix
ourselves. Actions. Black people as well. Like even knowledge around court. Like most people don't know how. Fair enough. That's a bit far telling like the judge to suck your mum. But most black people, a lot of people haven't even been to court. So why not put again systems in place where there's education about how to act?
There are a lot of people. You know, everyone could go to court to list the cases. I never knew that till I started going to court. You can just casually walk into court and go
Yeah,
say
that's
your
what I
case.
mean. You never knew that until you started going, but other people don't even know you could do that.
But
They don't wanna.
There's
There's
common sense though. There's common sense. There's common sense though. When you go to a job interview in your normal clothes, they're about to put you in jail. You best go look in there and presenting yourself the best you can.
You saying this here? Let's be honest here. How many black people
here?
How many black people? First of all, read. 1, 2. How many black people here? If I told you here, there's a motive today here. We're going court, brother. Let's roll. What are you gonna tell me? What are you gonna tell me? Briggs, you're bare Nikki, man. You and this your law shit is bare Nikki, man. Stu, Nikki. But these white people here, that's like this guy saying here. Do you know what triggered when he started saying here? At 7, he picked up the maddest book here and what? Educated his brain. He switched his mindset.
But
He
can
switched
I
his
say
mindset
that
here.
even reading, like, if you look historically before,
Black people weren't allowed to read.
No, black people's concern was survival. Not
Mm.
for everyone, but for most people, you didn't have time to educate your children on, like, read this and like that. That's extra.
So we don't have time.
That's part of the privilege.
Wait.
No, I'm talking historically. Before it was you had to teach your children how to survive, right?
I'm not saying let's break
Right,
this
back when
historical barrier here,
No,
but sometimes let's deep the present as well. Like a lot of times we like to bring history. Me, I've never been last. I've never been last by no white man. So I'm not gonna go beef with a white man. However, yeah, I feel like for me right now, yeah, I've known that like this world alone here is all. I've met people here that have they're black here. They've got all white friends here, and they act just like them, and they fit into all these places.
Yes.
Why? Their mindset. Why do you think here? Which black people they taking their schools to private school? It's not because they're turning them white. They're turning them. It's their mind. They're changing their perspective. Me, I've seen people here, you be told, oh, I finessed him. You know, oh, Briggs, what does finesse mean? This is my black friend. You know, oh, what does finesse mean? Why? It's not about that. It's not a ghetto life here. But his parents here have tuned him, just like he said here. He tuned his mind. Like he's interested in this here, so he tuned his mind. I want to understand the beyond. I want to understand what this United thing they're talking about here. Nah, I'm not going to take it from the surface of the book here. I'm going to get to the last page, and from then he got in deeper and deeper and deeper. Black people, oh, let's go library, bro. These times here, there's 3 bad bitches in Ace. It's true. Brother,
Do you want me to get ads on this video?
Brother, it's true. Like, I'm not bashing black people here, but like, I feel like, and the thing is here, we see a lot of little black
Our
people here.
priorities are wrong.
Wrong, and we see the little one that's, oh, he's so woke, man. He's not that woke. He's just trying to do better for himself.
Yes.
Like, the person you're telling Nikki, at the end of the day, that's the person you're gonna hire for your lawyer. Like, these white people, the way they carry themselves here, it's mad. Like, it's mad. Yeah. When you start here, you start taking race out of stuff here, and you follow these white people here, you know that they do stuff different. I tell my friends here, oh, I'm trying to go like circus and stuff like that here. They're like, Briggs, bro, there's carnival on Monday. I'm like, brother, I'm trying to educate myself. Do you understand? These white people, they do the weirdest stuff here, but that's how they were able to identify and all these things. I'm not saying that white people, you don't invented it, you didn't. But, but yeah, it's deeper. It's deeper knowledge. Like we say, it comes to, it's not even about the race here. Black people here, like this guy, he's probably sitting on here like 100K. You can never tell why. He's a nice shirt. Listen, black people, we want to splash and hate on our next man. Bro, this hat here was a present, brother. But we want to splash here and show off on our next man. And I'm not saying there's white people that do that. They splash peas here, but let's deep it. At the end of the day, here, the major white people here, they read, they educate. They take that extra step. Black people, we're too relaxed. I want to help them educate them. Like, I feel like you could do it, bro. Kofi Annan has done it. Obama has done it. Why? He didn't sit down and say that, oh, I'm black, man. I'm never going to do. Change your mindset and educate yourself. I'm not there, but I aspire to be there, and we should all aspire to be there.
Correct.
But black people, some of you white people, you also try.
Everything, but I feel like in any case, like
Racism
thing
is
where
there.
black people don't do this, black people don't do this.
No, I'm not blaming that. It's there. It's
just
there. I
get
agree
what
with
I'm
you.
saying,
It's there.
But we owe it to ourselves to be like, why? And then go back to that root of those things, because there are some things like you could just be a lazy person, yeah. But I mean, like, even if you look at the same person, depending on like what your circumstances are, your priorities are going to be different. If I'm just trying to pay the bills, like my priorities aren't to read. I'm not saying I don't have time, but it may not be a priority. So all I'm saying is like, I just think it's, yeah, all of those things are facts.
Okay, we'll end on issue, please. You've landed. You
Why is that?
Reading should always be a priority.
If anyone makes a point, don't let me talk, bro. Don't let me talk, bro.
Like, what's this? Like, when I say reading should be a priority, I don't mean like necessarily having
just
to
reading,
read.
it's educating.
But you have to educate yourself. That should always be a priority. And I don't mean you may go like 6-8 months to a year, you don't do anything. But if you notice, it's been a year and I haven't even picked up a book or tried to, you should take a step and like, you know what, let me actually start check you, because you only make time for what's important to you to an extent. I'm not saying there aren't other factors that affect how things go, but that's just the truth. So for example, when black people are doing business, more time, it doesn't go anywhere properly, because you know why? They're not putting in the same work or trying to educate themselves.
Or I want discount.
I was saying to earlier that I thought I want a discount. You're looking at your brother is trying to hustle, trying to make something of himself. You're asking the guy for discount. Do you see where I'm coming from? Instead of you supporting, show that you believe in what he's trying to do. Do you see where I'm coming from? Yeah. So there's an element of, like, I have to agree with you, like, there's still a large element of you taking responsibility. Now, I agree when you say you have to understand the root cause, because sometimes if you don't know the root, you can't solve the problem. But if you have a general idea of what the problem is, at least start making movements towards solving the problem. And then as you're going, if you say, okay, you know what, maybe I went wrong here, you recalculate and you take some more steps. Do you see where I'm coming from? Towards sorting the problem.
In addition to that, in addition to that, we have to also look at the differences between us and other ethnic minorities.
Because there are differences.
Because there are huge differences. We can't just, how come, look at, for example, and accept them. Yeah. Look at Asians, for example. They came here, corner shops.
Takeaways, Mr. Toys.
I'm not paying you.
You are there.
Let's keep it 100.
You know they system for houses as well,
Smart.
But what?
Smart. Wait, I haven't finished. Not only the Asian corner shops, yeah, the Chinese
takeaway. Everywhere.
But what about us? We're working hard, not smarter.
Wait, but for us, we are connecting. Job after job. How many jobs did our parents work?
So, listen, my mum would.
Even with that, the whole thing when it was like, they owned like the majority of the world. Ask yourself a question. In fact, props, because for you to allow yourself to be owned by one small group of people.
Thank you.
You are not thinking yourself.
There's a problem.
So it's almost like kudos. You did it.
Yes.
But I almost can't say anything to you because we are allowed you to.
Exactly.
You see where I'm coming from. Yeah. Whether you were clever or not, you had something else that allowed you to finesse the whole situation.
It's a sentence. So it's just a sentence, bro.
Okay.
It's just
finish the sentence.
On his point, let me give you a trick here about the whole thing about the N-word here. Let me show you how smart sometimes these white people are here. They gave us this disease and then we started calling us each other, and then they stopped.